And now we turn to Newt Gingrich, former Republican Speaker of the House. Mr. Speaker, good to have you back. So,
good to be with you.
You've heard these reports about Steve Bannon, and really, and I'll just show the viewers some of the headlines. And you know, he didn't write these, but he was the executive chairman of Breitbart when some of these went up. And here's just a couple. He called, not he, Breitbart referred to Bill Kristol as a renegade Jew. It was written by a Jewish author, but still. The solution to online harassment is simple. Women should log off was another one. Here's a couple more for you. Stand by. They'll put them up there. Birth control makes women unattractive and crazy. Would you rather your child had feminism or cancer? And then there are these chestnuts. Gay rights have made us dumber. Fat shaming works. So those are the kinds of headlines that have people saying, was this the best choice? Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, there's a big difference between the kind of stuff they did at Breitbart, which was designed to attract audiences and was actually very successful. I mean, lots of people tuned in, partly out of amusement. It's like reading the Daily Mail every day from London. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff there, and
it's clickbait.
You keep finding yourself doing it. Bannon is a very serious guy. Calista and I have worked with him on several movies. We know him pretty well. He is very deeply concerned that Washington has grown corrupt, way too large as a government, a threat to our liberties, and he feels those things very deeply. He's also a former naval officer who has served this country very patriotically. He played a big role in the election of Donald Trump. I thought what Trump did was frankly very smart. He took Reince Priebus, who had done probably the best job as RNC chairman in modern history, put him in as the daily coordinator as chief of staff. But then he said, look, I want a guy who's going to think about the fights we're going to be in and is going to be enthusiastic about those fights. And he gave, in some ways, he I think ended up giving Bannon the equivalent of the Karl Rove job or the Axelrod job in previous administrations.
And that's what Bannon has said, that he's a fighter. Yeah. And he likes to bust up, Washington. He doesn't like the establishment. And that's what Trump is. And that's what a lot of Trump's voters and supporters wanted. Now, let me ask you about the news on potential cabinet appointments. Tonight, the AP is reporting that Rudy Giuliani is the favorite. They're saying the favorite for Secretary of State. Do you have any information on that?
I have no information, but if Rudy wants it, he'll get it. Rudy's probably been the closest surrogate. He and Senator Sessions have been the two closest surrogates to President-elect Trump. He has done a great job. He has worked his heart out. I thought he might prefer Attorney General, where he would be brilliant, or Homeland Security, where his experience at 9/11 would be great. I think it would be fabulous to have him as Secretary of State. He's already known worldwide. He is a great manager, and he would do a lot both to represent America, which is what we need, and to reform the State Department, which is what we need. So I'd be very enthusiastic if he picks Rudy to be Secretary of State.
Some are saying Jeff Sessions will probably go Secretary of Defense, and that Laura Ingraham may be under consideration for either press secretary or another position in the administration, which she did not shoot down when she was on Tucker Carlson's new show today at 7, by the way. Possibly General Michael Flynn for NSA. And what about you, Mr. Speaker? Are you being considered for a position, and is there one you have your eye on?
Well, I want to be the general planner looking out over the next 8 years and trying to design how we fundamentally reshape the federal government. And that's a very broad job. The closest analogy probably is Harry Hopkins and the work he did for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. But let me say for a second about Sessions. Senator Sessions was the most loyal, the earliest supporter of Trump in Washington. He would be great as Attorney General because he spent 13 years in the Justice Department and was Attorney General of Alabama. He would also be tremendous at the Department of Defense. I would be very enthusiastic, whatever he and the President-elect decide.
Now, Trump is getting hit tonight in some corners because he is asking for top secret clearance for his children in the Trump administration. And the conflict, his detractors say, is that he has said his children, his adult children, are going to be running the Trump organization, and that it would be inappropriate or wrong to have them maintain this active business interest with international ties and both have access to top secret information. Do they have a point?
Look, I think when you look at how Hillary Clinton totally abused the system, I would sure trust Ivanka or Donald or Don Jr. or Eric a heck of a lot more than Hillary Clinton. And I think that they would keep the secrets. The objective fact is this is a president-elect who is going to rely very closely on his family, including Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband. I mean, the four of them really form his brain trust. These are people he trusts, he loves, he feels comfortable with. I think the President of the United States ought to be able to designate the people he wants advice from, and I think that these four are going to be tremendous asset to the United States of America.
But just to press you once more on that, the critics are suggesting that not necessarily that they couldn't be trusted to not reveal the top secret information, but that it poses an interesting dilemma, a conflict for them in making business decisions about foreign countries that they actually have some top secret knowledge about.
I'll tell you what, the first time they come in with a $25 million check from the Saudis, or they come in with $1 million birthday check from Qatar, or they come in with special deals from a variety of international people, precisely like Bill Clinton for a long time.
We won't know about that.
I'll start to worry. Well, of course you could. I'll start to worry about it, but I think...
We wouldn't know about that.
You know, historically, we were a country where people like John Foster Dulles could be a great international lawyer and a very powerful Secretary of State. Historically, we thought you had to have people who were competent and knew things, and they actually could work together. It's only in the last 30 or 40 years we've gotten into this wacky idea that if you actually know something and succeed at something, you're probably not appropriately involved in government. So you end up with people in government who don't know anything and can't do anything. I think this is something we ought to explore carefully. There should clearly be rules. There might well have to be a certain amount of transparency. And then, frankly, the Trump family would have to decide, are they willing to live with that transparency? There's no question you're asking an important question about this, and I think that we have to explore it. But in principle, having the president have an ability to talk candidly with people who are very, very close to him, I think is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for being here, and congratulations. Congratulations on Donald Trump's win.